When you think of FRS radios, do you think kids' radio toys? The new Tidradio M11 FRS radio may change your mind. In this video, we're going to take a look at a new release from Tidradio. It's the M11 FRS HT radio. FRS, or Family Radio Service radios, are often considered just kids' toys. Let's take a look at the new M11 and see if there's more to it than that. As we get started, thanks for watching this Gadget Talk video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you find this video helpful. In full disclosure, Tidradio sent me this radio to test and review, but they've got no input into the review itself. The insights and opinions are mine alone. Let's get started. The M11 radios come in a set of 2. It looks like the plan is to have several colors available, but currently they only come in black. They're a bit less expensive on the Tidradio website, but you can get them on Amazon too. Shipping fees might cover the difference if you're a Prime member. I'll have some affiliate links below in the description to both sources. As FRS radios, these radios use the same frequencies as GMRS, although the transmissions are narrow band instead of GMRS's wide band. I've got some audio clips coming up with some narrow to wide and wide to narrow transmissions. Spoiler alert, I doubt you'll see any difference. The other thing that's different with FRS radios is that there are no repeater channels. Those are reserved for GMRS. Let's take a look at what comes in the package. So there's not a lot that comes with the M11. It has a couple of standard accessories, including a wall wart, a USB-C charging cable, a little wrist lanyard right here, and then a holster style or clip-on belt clip, which is right here. And because there are 2 radios in the kit, each of these is doubled. So 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these as well. So let's take a look at the radio next. So here's the radio, and there's really not a lot to it. It's an FRS radio, so the antenna is molded in. On this side, there are the push-to-talk button and 2 side keys. Those are programmable in the software. They come with weather on the lower, a long press on the lower, and with turning on the Bluetooth, which is the long press on the upper. Over here is the standard K1 type connector for microphone if you want to program using a programming cable. And then down here is a USB-C connector for charging the battery. And I didn't want to pry the battery off. There's a little extra opening right here, but the battery comes sealed. This radio has a fairly high intrusion or ingress protection score, so I didn't want to mess with that. So charging the battery on the side with the microphone connector over here. On the top is the on-off switch, and then here in the front is the display, which is pretty simple. We'll turn it on here in just a second, and then the speaker is right here. This long opening here is an LED that glows green when receiving and red when transmitting, like most of these little radios do. So let's turn the radio on.
Turn on the radio. 2.
I don't know if you could hear that or not, but the radio said, turn on the radio. And then it showed some of the displays that are there for like CTCSS, DCS, whether the Bluetooth is on and that kind of thing. And then it displayed the channel number for just a while, and then it goes dead, so you don't have to expend battery. So if we want to use this side key, up channel and down channel with short presses, we can do that.
3, 4.
Here's the voice.
5, 6.
And then with that long press I mentioned to turn on the Bluetooth, we'll get a little Bluetooth icon right there. So we'll do that, press. And you can see that the Bluetooth turns on red right here. And when you're connected, it turns kind of an orange. Another long press turns the Bluetooth off. And then a long press on the bottom will turn on the weather channels. And we'll go up a couple here since channel 9 is not my local weather channel.
The normal high temperature for today is 104 degrees, and the normal low is 77. The record high for today is 114, which last occurred in 1918, and the record low is 55, which occurred.
Another long press takes it out of the weather mode. So that's pretty much all it is. It's a put it in your pocket and go talk kind of radio. The key to FRS radios is that they are simple to use. The M11 is no exception. Here are the audio clips I mentioned earlier. The first pair of transmissions is between the two M11s that came in the kit. The second set of transmissions was between a Tidradio H3 GMRS radio transmitting and receiving wideband and the M11 transmitting and receiving a narrowband signal.
Test. This is the receive test, the Tidradio M11 from another FRS radio. Test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Test out. Transmit test from the Tidradio M11 FRS radio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test out. Test. Receive test from a GMRS radio, wideband to narrowband. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test out. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. FRS to GMRS, so narrowband to wideband. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test out.
I really couldn't hear a difference between the two. There certainly are differences theoretically, but as you heard, certainly not enough to hear in an environment you'd likely to be using them in. As I record this, there really isn't any programming to do. I can get them to connect to both the ODMaster app and the ODMaster web portal using Bluetooth. I'll show some photos here now. What I couldn't do is either program or transfer data. As you see, when selecting the Tidradio M11 22 channel choice, I get an error in the app and nothing happens in the web portal. That means no CTCSS or DCS programming. I contacted Tidradio about this, and they stated that the ODMaster was about to be updated and that may be fixed by the time that you see this video. They also sent me a link to a pre-release version of the CPS. It worked great. Here's a clip of that process. So here's the TD-M11 CPS, and it's really pretty simple. Because there's not a lot of variables, everything is displayed up here in the corner on one screen. So, the frequency band is here, the version, icons across the top, read, write, port select, those are handy. So check the port in your device manager depending on what driver your particular programming cable uses. Open save, and then all those things are here in the drop downs as well, including the typical file menu kind of things that are in most Windows programs. Now, the radio only has 22 channels, and so they're listed here. And the box is a little smaller than 22, so if you scroll down, you can get to the other 22 channels. And these represent the GMRS channels 1 through 22. Now, because it's a simple display, there's no naming capability here. They're just channels 1 to 22. Now, there are only a couple of parameters to set in the radio, so you can set the voice prompt either to Chinese or English. The timeout timer is adjustable. You can set whether you're using Vox or not, the squelch level, and then the sleep mode, which is the degree to which the receiver doesn't listen to save battery as the radio is used. You can also add a password if you like, and then there's just 2 side keys with several choices, and I've got mine set to turn the Bluetooth on with a long press on the upper side key and to activate the NOAA weather on the long press on the lower side key. So that's really about all we have. Here, there's not a lot to do in the frequencies, but you can rearrange with the drop-down box to change the order of frequencies and that kind of thing. You could, in some of these frequencies, put 3 of the same channel with different CT, CSS, or DCS codes. Those are things that you could possibly do. But for most of us with a simple radio, you're just going to use basically the frequencies that come, and then you can make a change here to give it a code. So the CT, CSS codes are listed here, and then if you scroll down, you get into the DCS codes. And so if you want to limit what's received by your radio to only those transmissions that have a CT, CSS code that you select, you can do that here. For most of us, it's not going to matter, but it is available. So that's really about all there is here. Let's go through the process just real quick. So I went through, I got a port on my computer, it's COM3. I select OK. I press read. It reads from the radio. The read's complete. And then now I've got all this done. And if I wanted to make a change to one of these, which in this case I don't, I could make those changes. And then I would write it back to the radio. Simple radio, simple CPS. This was a pre-production version of the CPS. They tell me that it's going to be available perhaps before I get this video posted. Again, it should hit their website soon, if it hasn't already. That site is walkie-talkiesoftware.com. Now, all that being said, these are FRS radios. If your needs are for a bunch of custom channels, you should probably be looking at a GMRS radio anyway. Remember, FRS radios are for simple pick-up-and-go communications. Some of these features may fit better with the PMR versions of this radio sold in Europe and UK as ham radios. This includes wireless cloning and wireless channel copy that's referred to as cracking in the manual. So, why would you consider this FRS HT instead of GMRS? The first reason is licensing. The M11 requires no license. That means you can get several and let the kids play with them, but also hand some out to neighbors or friends for a neighborhood watch program or among your family members while hiking or camping. The M11 has an intrusion protection or ingress protection score rating of IP65, which means it's dustproof and will survive water splashes and the rain. The M11 is USB-C chargeable. That means no special cables or cradles to ensure your radio is charged. The cable that charges your phone is likely a USB-C cable anyway and will work with the radios just fine. Since FRS uses the same channels as GMRS, both radios can be used together. If some folks already have GMRS radios, you can still be part of the group. Because FRS radios don't have detachable antennas, I didn't do a power test on the M11s, but a watt or two of power is not likely to impact range very much. Buildings, trees, and hills are a much bigger factor in radio range. The Tidradio M11 strikes me as being a solidly built, easy-to-use radio that fills basic communications needs while not breaking the bank. USB charging with the included cables and wall warts make this two-radio kit a great value. I'll link a previous video I did about FRS and GMRS radios over here so you can make some comparisons about what's best for you. Again, if you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.